Have you ever noticed this? You meet friends you genuinely like, you laugh, you talk, nothing bad happens, but the moment you get home, you feel empty, drained, like your energy was quietly unplugged. And the confusing part? You weren't bored, you weren't forced, you weren't pretending. So why does socializing, even with people you care about, leave you exhausted? Here's the psychology behind people who feel drained after socializing. And if this video feels a little too accurate, that's not a coincidence. Let's start with something most people misunderstand. Feeling drained after socializing does not mean you're antisocial. It doesn't mean you dislike people, and it definitely doesn't mean something is wrong with you. In fact, psychology suggests the opposite. People who feel socially drained often have high emotional sensitivity, strong self-awareness, and deep mental processing, and that comes with a cost. Let's break it down. Some people walk into a room and feel nothing. Others walk into a room and immediately sense who's tense, who's insecure, who's trying too hard, who's uncomfortable but pretending not to be. If socializing drains you, there's a high chance you're emotionally receptive. Psychology calls this emotional attunement. Your brain isn't just listening to words, it's reading tone, pauses, facial expressions, micro-reactions, even silence. While others are just talking, your mind is quietly processing everything underneath. That constant emotional scanning takes energy, a lot of it. You don't notice it happening, but by the end of the interaction, your nervous system is overstimulated. And once you're alone, the exhaustion hits. Not because people were bad, but because your brain was working overtime. Some people socialize on autopilot. They say what's expected, they laugh at the right moments, they don't analyze much. But if you feel drained after socializing, you likely do something different. You stay mentally present the entire time. You think before you speak. You reflect mid-conversation. You notice how your words land. You replay moments instantly. This is linked to high self-monitoring, a personality trait where people are deeply aware of social dynamics. It's not insecurity, it's awareness. But awareness requires mental energy. Imagine running multiple apps in the background of your phone. Eventually, the battery drains. That's your mind after social interaction. Here's a quiet frustration many people never say out loud. You enjoy people, but shallow conversation tires you. Small talk, repetitive stories, predictable reactions. Your brain craves meaning, depth, connection. Psychology links this to need for cognitive depth. When conversations don't stimulate you emotionally or intellectually, your brain compensates by trying to create meaning where there isn't much. That internal effort is exhausting. So even when the vibe is good, you leave feeling oddly empty. Not because the people were wrong, but because your mind was underfed. This one is subtle and powerful. If you're the kind of person who keeps the peace, smooths tension, listens more than speaks, adjusts your energy to match others, you're doing emotional labor. Psychology defines emotional labor as the effort used to manage not just your emotions, but the emotional climate around you. You sense when to joke, when to stay quiet, when to reassure, when to downplay yourself. Others relax. You carry the weight. By the time you're alone, your system finally lets go, and the tiredness feels heavy. Not all nervous systems are wired the same. Some people recharge by being around others. Others recharge by being alone. This isn't introvert versus extrovert. That's too simple. Psychology points to stimulus sensitivity. If your nervous system is highly responsive, social environments create more internal stimulation. Sounds, faces, movement, conversation flow. Your brain processes it deeply.
So after socializing, your system demands recovery, silence, stillness, solitude, not because you're avoiding people, but because your mind needs to reset.
Here's the truth many people quietly live with. When you're alone, you don't have to adjust. You don't have to respond, react, perform, explain. Your thoughts can move freely. Psychologists call this authentic cognitive space. For people who are introspective, alone time isn't loneliness, it's relief. So socializing, even enjoyable socializing, creates contrast, and the contrast makes the exhaustion noticeable. Now here's the part most people get wrong. They think feeling drained after socializing means they should socialize less. But psychology suggests something more important. You don't need fewer people. You need different energy exchanges. You need conversations that don't require constant filtering. You need people who don't demand performance. You need spaces where silence is allowed. When that happens, socializing stops feeling like a drain and starts feeling like nourishment. So if this video felt uncomfortably accurate, here's what to remember. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not too sensitive. You're perceptive. You're emotionally intelligent, and your mind runs deep. Your energy drains not because you dislike people, but because you experience them fully. And once you understand that, you stop forcing yourself to be someone louder, faster, or less aware. You choose environments that fit your wiring, and suddenly you feel lighter. If this explains something about you that you never had words for, you're not alone. Subscribe for more psychology that decodes human behavior in ways that feel personal, because they are. And if you know someone who always needs alone time after hanging out, this might explain why.